If you ever inherit a house, and the will says you must stay there alone for 7 nights, don't do it. Especially if, when you arrive, the house already knows your name. Because names are not just words. They are anchors. In some places, learn how to pull. The envelope arrived on a Tuesday. No return address. No stamp damage. Just my name. Handwritten. Slow strokes. Deliberate curves. I recognized the handwriting instantly. Because it was mine. Not similar. Not close. Mine. Same slant. Same pressure. Same hesitation on the final letter of my last name. Inside was a single sheet of paper. A list. 37 names. Each one crossed out with a single black line. Neat. Careful. Except the last one. The last one wasn't crossed out. It was circled. My name. My aunt died 3 days later. Heart failure. Peaceful, they said. She had no children. No husband. No visitors. Except once a year. She sent me a birthday card. Never signed with love. Just her name. As if she wanted to remind me. She existed. The will was short. The house was mine. Everything inside it. On one condition. I must stay there alone for 7 consecutive nights. If I leave early, the house goes to the town. The lawyer didn't look at me when he read that part. He just cleared his throat and said, the town didn't feel abandoned. It felt paused, like everyone had stepped away, but might return at any moment. Windows were covered. Cars parked neatly in driveways. No children. No dogs. No noise. At the gas station, I mentioned the address. The clerk stopped scanning my card, looked at me, and asked, did she leave it to you? I nodded. He swallowed, then leaned closer. Don't let it hear you say your full name. I laughed. He didn't. The house smelled old. Not rotten. Just unused. The floorboards creaked in patterns, like they remembered footsteps. The hallway walls were lined with framed photographs. No faces. Every picture had been scratched out. Every single one. Except one frame at the end. It held a list. 37 names. All crossed out. Except mine. The first night was silent. Too silent. No wind. No insects. No distant highway hum. Just the sound of the house settling. At 2:17 a.m., I woke up. Not to a noise, but to the feeling of being watched. Then, whispering. Not words. Not yet. Just breath shaped into sound. Soft. Right beside my ear. I didn't move. Because sometimes, when you don't react, things lose interest. The whispering stopped. And when I turned on the lamp, there was a paper on my bedside table. One name had been crossed out. I was sure. That name wasn't there before. The notebook was in the kitchen drawer. Under old cutlery. Dusty. But recently touched. Inside. My handwriting. Older. Less controlled. The first page read. Below it. Rules. Never say your full name. Never answer when it calls you. If it knocks 3 times, leave immediately. Do not sleep in the same room twice. It learns through repetition. It practices. Practices what? The page ended there. I slept in a different room. At 2:17 a.m. 3 knocks. From inside the wall. Knock. 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 Measured. Perfect spacing. I stood up. Left the room. Just like the rule said. As I stepped into the hallway, I heard it whisper my first name. Correctly. Perfect pronunciation. No distortion. No echo. Just my voice. By night 3, it began testing my last name. Softly. Almost shyly. Like someone reading it off a paper. Mispronouncing it. Correcting itself. Repeating it. Each time. Clearer. Each time. Closer. And every time it got it right. Something changed in the house. A door moved. A window disappeared. A hallway stretched longer than it should. The house was adjusting. Refining. Aligning. On night 5, I found a door at the end of the hallway. There hadn't been a door there before. Inside. A small room. No furniture. Just walls. And on the far wall. The list. 37 names. All crossed out. Including mine. But I was still standing there. Still breathing. Behind me. Footsteps. My footsteps. Matching mine. Exactly. I turned around. And I saw myself. Not pale. Not monstrous. Just calm. Finished. Like someone who had completed a long task. It smiled. And in my voice. It said my full name. Perfectly. Confidently. Without hesitation. The walls shuddered. The lights flickered. And the list on the wall scratched itself. My name darkened. The line pressing deeper. Permanent. I felt my thoughts blur. Edges dissolving. Like ink soaking into paper. And as I faded, I realized something worse than being replaced. The list wasn't a list of victims. It was a list of versions. 37 attempts. 37 refinements. 37 rehearsals. And this was the perfect one. But the house made one mistake. It practiced too much. And I had learned something too. And as I faded, I realized something worse than being replaced. The list wasn't a list of victims. It was a list of versions. 37 attempts. 37 refinements. 37 rehearsals. And this was the perfect one. But the house made one mistake. It practiced too much. And I had learned something too. He stepped forward, placed his palm against my forehead. And suddenly, I remembered. 37 arrivals. 37 attempts. 37 failures. Each one thinking they were the first. Each one thinking they were real. I wasn't being replaced. I was being uploaded. But something was wrong. Because when our memories aligned, I saw something he didn't expect me to see. A memory outside the house. A day before the letter arrived. When I had almost thrown it away. When I had almost said my full name out loud. Alone in my apartment. But I didn't. I hesitated. And in that hesitation, the house couldn't record it. It couldn't refine what it didn't fully hear. There was a flaw. A missing piece. I whispered my full name. Not loudly. Not defiantly. Just clearly. But not inside the house. Inside my own mind. A name has power when spoken, but it has control when remembered. The walls trembled. The humming distorted. The lights flickered violently. He stepped back, confused. That's not how this ends. The list on the wall began rewriting itself. Names shifting. Lines erasing. The house wasn't perfecting people. It was trying to recreate one person. The original. The one who built it. A mind obsessed with correction. With flawlessness. With replication. Each version of me was an attempt to rebuild him. But perfection requires consent. And I never fully gave it. The walls folded inward. Hallways shortening. Doors sealing. The copy of me flickered. Like static over flesh. You were the closest, he whispered. Almost disappointed. Almost complete. The final line carved into the wall shattered. Cracks spread like veins. And for the first time, the house made a mistake. It forgot my name. I woke up in my apartment. Sweating. Alone. No house. No town. No list. On my kitchen table. An envelope. No return address. Inside. A blank sheet of paper. At the top. One word slowly appearing. Not written. Revealed. Like invisible ink meeting heat. Version 39. And underneath. A space. Waiting. If you ever receive a letter, and it's written in your handwriting, don't open it. Because some houses, don't forget, they just try again.